Hello and greetings to you wherever you are in the world. I am absolutely delighted today to be speaking to Leila Kigha, who is from Cameroon. And I feel really honored and privileged to be able to speak to Leila today and to share this conversation with you, as Leila has been interviewed on radio and TV, and really, it's an absolute pleasure to have her on my conversation with you today. So Leila is an accomplished and creative businesswoman, and not only that, but she's also an ordained minister and self-taught tech enthusiast, as she says.
Yeah.
But Leila has many aspects to herself, and I'm going to give you, Leila, welcome here today. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself and tell us a little about you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Michelle. I think the privilege is mine to be on your platform and to speak and to spend this moment with you and the people in your community. It's really an honor. And I think you said it all. I'm called Leila Kigha. I'm married, and I'm a business woman, you'd say. I have so many things going on, a lot of things I'm working on, but I think the most important is this love for empowering women, especially, that drives everything I do. It all comes from a place of wanting to contribute my own bit to transform the lives of women, just taking it one woman at a time and seeing them move from where they are to where they would want to be in life. And whatever I do, be it as a coach, or as a fashionpreneur, or as a minister, or as a sister, a wife, a daughter, whatever I do, it centers around that, contributing my own bit to the feminine gender, especially, so that they can move from where they are, this place where we have been unconsciously and for a very long time placed in a place where we have been defined as belonging to particular places, moving us from that place to a place where we can confidently and boldly show up in our communities, in our societies, so that the world can perceive and receive the gifts, the goodness that is in us. So that is a summary of what Leila's life is. And if I'll go a little bit my background, I'm a trained journalist by profession. I've worked as a journalist for over 15 years, but for the past 7 to 8 years, I've been more of an entrepreneur than a journalist. I do get to write articles for people from time to time, but it's no longer my full-time job. What I do now is I train people, I teach people, and I make things that can make people feel good about themselves. Yeah, so that's it.
That's amazing. I mean, isn't that what it's all about? Is uplifting everyone and making them feel good about themselves, and really showing them that they are worthy and that they have gifts. I think that's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
So Leila, you've got a couple of businesses on the go, and would you be able to tell us what started you off? So when you were working, what was it that made you change and decide to become more of an entrepreneur than a person who was in a working job?
Oh, all right. So while I was working as a journalist on TV and on the radio, I really loved my job. Let's start from there. I dreamt my whole life growing up, I wanted to become a journalist. That is what I wanted to become. Because when I watched TV, there were some women, I can just picture those anchor ladies. Each time I tuned in and I saw them, I was like, wow, this is something I want to do. This is who I want to be. I couldn't really explain why I really loved the profession that much from childhood, but I just knew I wanted to be like those women. a role model people can look up to. And when I grew up and I had a chance to go to university, that's what I chose. I said, I'm going to pursue this because it's something from childhood. I just knew I'd become one. And when I graduated, I became a journalist, first on radio, and then TV added to that. But while doing all of that, something happened that made me realize that as much as I love the profession, there is so much more to what I want to do than what I was doing. I had the privilege of being the very first, I think one of the youngest in Central Africa, if I'm not mistaken, editor-in-chief for a news desk. And back then, I had a French and an English news team to manage, to build and to manage, because we're just starting off the TV station. So I had to build that team and I had to manage that team. And so that challenge of bringing in people and assisting in training the people that came in, I realized that I got more fulfillment helping those people stand out, helping those people succeed in the profession. And each time I helped a colleague and maybe drill a colleague through the basics and what had to happen, and maybe she went for the first time on air and had her newscast and she did well, I was so happy. I felt like I was the one doing it. I felt like something amazing had happened. And it happened with several of my young colleagues who, and I told myself at some point, I think I find more joy helping others to stand out than I do being in the limelight myself. I got to a point where I didn't really enjoy being the face of the English news casts at 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. I really didn't enjoy it anymore. It was some kind of routine to me right now. So I got to that point and I said, I think I have to consider doing something else. But then I didn't know what to do. I just thought of that and I left it and I continued working. And the second thing that happened is while I was working, unfortunately, I don't know if this happens around the world, but this is what happens in most African countries and especially Cameroon. What you earn as a journalist, it can't make ends meet. You can't live of it. And so a lot of us are forced to get into very compromising situations. So while working, I knew I had to do something else to make sure I had enough to take care of myself and the things that pertain to my life and my family. And so I started making bags and shoes and clothing for my elder sister. She is a fashion.
Wonderful.
Yeah, she loves fashion so much. And at that time, they just started revamping shoes in Africa, all of Africa. That's around 2010, 11. They started revamping shoes in Africa a lot. People began taking old pairs of shoes and revamping with the African fabric. And so it was something that was really happening and lots of people were enjoying it. And since I'm somebody who loves shoes and I really love the African fabric, I thought to myself, I should do that for my family. It was more of for my sister. I did some for her and she really loved them. I made some bags, I made some jewelries and just made some stuff and clothing for her. And before long, her friends started asking for them. Her friends started asking, they want for themselves, they want for themselves. And my sister also got to a point where she also started paying me for doing it for her. She wasn't just asking me to do it anymore, but she would actually ask me, how much did it cost you to do this? And she's going to send the money over and I'll make for her and I'll send to her. And same thing with her
friends. So you started a little business with your sister.
Yeah. And her friends saw them and they loved it. And I started doing it for her friends. And it just spiraled and people around began asking, I have this shoe that I love so much, I don't want to throw away. Do you think you can make it look beautiful with something else? So sure, why not? I did it for them. I made bags, took bags, revamped handbags also, and clothing, just helping people doing that and getting paid for some, and some, well, just doing it for free. And so that helped me get some extra money that I could use for myself and take care of myself. And at some point in time at my job, what really, really made me transition was I was overwhelmed with work and I had to work. I worked Monday to Sunday, and most of the times I got back home from 10:30 p.m. And so it's like it took a toll on me, and I got had problems with my nerves, and I got depressive. So at some point in time, I saw a doctor who told me I had to take it easy, and I was placed on medication. And for some time, I was living on antidepressants because that's what really kept me going. And so every morning I had to take 2 tablets or so, and every evening I had to take some sleep, and so I could get up the next day and start working. So I think that is what really got me to the point where I said, I think I really need to rethink what I want to do with my life. And I remember one Sunday after my evening newscast, I told myself, I can't do this anymore. This is taking the life out of me. I am not healthy anymore. I don't even get to do the things I want to do anymore. I don't even get to go to church as I would love to. I don't get to spend time in my community as I would love to. I am all about the job, and I'll do a lot of things, and at the end of the day, I can't even carry my head anymore because it's like it's going to explode. So that evening, I made my decision and I said I wasn't coming back, but I didn't have an option. I just said I'm not coming back here. I think I need to do something else, but this is not it. I don't feel as though this is what I have to do with my life anymore. So I'm just going to move on, and so I left.
That often happens in life is that your body and your health actually just puts that in there for you so that you can make a change. It says enough is enough, and you're actually almost forced to make a change.
Exactly. I was really forced because I don't think I would have if the health issues didn't come in. I would have probably tried to persevere a little bit more, but because of the health issues, I knew I had to make a choice. And so I left that Sunday, and till date, I've never looked back. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And you've just gone forward in so many different ways. I mean, I'm so excited about all the things you can tell us. I know that besides your passion for shoes and fashion, and that you also have Cora Communications. And can you tell me a little bit about how you started that and why?
Yeah. So when I left my job, and the only thing I had, which was my side hustle, the shoes and bags, that's the only thing I had that I could fall on. That's the only thing I could live off for some time. And then I got opportunities to do some freelance writing work for a friend of mine who just came in from Ghana. And interestingly, one of my young colleagues on TV, I left a lot of things I was doing. I left it in his hands. So he called. When he met her, he told her he knows somebody who can help her do what she wants. So the lady called me and said, "This person recommended you." And so I met her, and she told me she wanted me to write articles on the top 50 women in the country for her magazine.
Oh, wow.
So I went online to research about these women. I knew many of them because working on TV, one of the advantages of being a media person is you get to know a lot about people. You just get to know people. And so I already knew so many of them. And so I went to do some more research online to see if I could find out information about them, things they have said about themselves, things they've written and put out there, so I can take that as an authentic source of information about them and use it for my article, because to interview all of them would have been very difficult. So when I went online, I realized that I didn't find anything about almost all of them. And it really troubled me because I told myself, we have amazing women in the country, those who are back home doing amazing things, those who are abroad doing great things, not only for themselves, but for people back home. And nobody knows sharing anything about them. It really bothered me. So I came back to my friend and I told her, I'm really amazed. I can't find anything online about these women, and it's really troubling me. And then she told me, that yes, she realized that personal branding is a problem in Cameroon. Before then, I'd never heard of that term. I'd never heard of it before. And it struck me, and I was like, what is she talking about? And immediately I went to the internet and I began searching good old Google. And I realized it's something that has to do with empowering people, helping people stand out, helping people being authentic and all of that. I'm like, I think this is what I really want to do with my life, but I didn't know how to do it. And this is a description of what I want to do. And I decided immediately, I started looking for coaches and mentors online who could help me learn about this. I wrote to a couple of women who had gone ahead, and one of them immediately, that same day, I think about an hour or two, replied and told me, yeah, she's willing to train me in all of this and all of that. She's willing to take me under her wings and teach me how this works and what it's all about. And so we got on a call and we started talking. And she told me she has a friend who is an African American who has been teaching her something of late, and that is the ability to give back to the next generation so that what you know can outlive you as an individual. And so when she saw my mail, it rang or it dawned on her that this was an opportunity for her to give back, and she doesn't know why, but she feels like I am the person she should give back to. And
wow, that's amazing.
yeah,
What a gift. You know,
yeah,
it's just, it happens that way. Just the right
yes,
timing, the right person comes along. And it's actually when you take a step in the direction that you want to go to, it's amazing how the people and the information finds
yes,
you
yes.
straight away.
That is so true. That is so true. Because I can't even explain why. I mean, she's never met me before. She's not African. She isn't. There is really nothing that could say, well, she's kind of linked or tied to me. She's never been to Africa before, and but she chose to do this, and I went on board, and we took some time, about a year or so. She spent time training me on this. I remember at times I would go to, back then the internet was not so common, so I had to go to cyber cafes to log in just like we are right now with an earpiece and listen to her just to get what she's saying and what she's transmitting. So after a while, she told me one day, Leila, I think it's time to give yourself permission to step out and do this. I think you're ready.
Ah,
And when she told me that, I was a little bit worried. I was like, I thought there was still so much more. And imposter syndrome just crept in. I was like, but nobody knows me as this. People have known me as a journalist for a very long time. Suddenly, I disappear from the scenes, and a couple of years after, I come back and I say, I'm into personal branding. I want to be a coach, a strategist, whatever. How does that tie? So it took me some time to really get in, but finally, in 2016, I made a decision. I said, I'm going to hold my very first workshop. I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to invite people, and I'm going to ask them to pay for it, and they're going to come, and I'm going to teach them this thing. And I did that the first time, and I think I had about 20 people, and that really made me, it kind of made me realize that it's something I can do and it's something I am ready to do. And so I continued having the workshops, and that's how Cora Communications was born.
fantastic. That's an amazing story. I mean, when you told me that the woman said she just felt that she should give back to you, I got goose flesh, because it's an energetic thing, you know. When somebody needs to find you, they will, and when you are open to receive, then the people will come into your life. Amazing. So Cora Communications was born, and there
Yes,
you help people to find clarity and
yes.
to uh, brand themselves properly and everything. So what else do you do there besides the workshops?
Okay, besides the workshops, I started off with the workshops, and I got to a point where I realized that the group settings are good because people encourage themselves, but working with people one-on-one is also another option. It's really good because you get people get the opportunity to be really open and really go deep into the things they wouldn't want to bring out in front of others. So I got into the one-on-one coaching side of it as well. So I helped people who want to build businesses around their expertise, around their competencies, around the things they know so well how to do, around the things they're passionate about. So I decided to start taking one-on-one clients. And I remember my very first client that was referred, I was referred to her by one of the people who attended my very first workshop. She got to the lady and told her there is somebody she thinks can help her with her branding. And she got in touch with me and told me this person recommended her and she wants me to help her. And we got working. And today she's not only a former client, she's a very dear friend and my own accountability partner. And so several people have been coming from that, referrals and us meeting in communities and all of that. And also, I also do workshops in companies. I help companies also facilitate workshops on personal branding for the women, for the staff, to help them realize that their productivity in the company depends a lot on how they position themselves and how they present themselves and how they bring their expertise to the table. Because if you don't take that step and say, I have something to say, or I have something that is worth hearing, nobody is going to listen to you. And for people to listen, you need to attract them to you. And so I help them take the women through some steps that can really help them see how they can not only be employees, but they can be service providers in the company. So you stop looking at yourself as an employee, but you look at yourself as somebody who has a service that the company needs, and you're actually providing a service, and your service is valuable, so you can really give yourself to your task. So I also do that as well. And when I'm not doing all the facilitations, I am doing lots of digital products. I love designing. I just love designing. I don't know where that came from, but I can spend all day designing. And so I find myself with lots of workbooks and ebooks and worksheets that I just come up with. And so recently I decided to start putting them on Etsy so I could sell them. So those who can't work one-on-one, those who can't have the time, they can get the workbooks and actually go through the processes by themselves. Yeah, so that's what Cora Communications does.
Oh, that's amazing. I love what you said about helping the women in companies to find their voice and
Yes.
to know that they have a service as well.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, how many times in my life, in your life, in other women's lives, haven't they had ideas in their head and they're actually saying it in their head in a meeting, but they're not actually vocalizing it and bringing it out so that it can be used. And it's just sort of a silent idea that stays there, whereas they could be bringing it out and helping their team, their company, and changing their life actually by speaking up.
Yes, that's so true. That's so true. A lot of women go through their careers and 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line, they are the same place where they started. Not because they didn't have what to give, or they didn't excel at their jobs, but their persona wasn't the type that people could really identify as potential, as top management potential, as because they didn't pay attention to some of those things that could easily put them off and present them as people who are not adequate. But when you begin to pay attention to all of this, and you take a look at your persona and you want to find out how others perceive me or how I want to be perceived in the marketplace, it becomes easy for you to really position yourself that way, so that when there is an opportunity that ties with what you know how to do, people can easily refer you because they have this love, life, and like and trust relation with you. You've made them like you, they know you, and they can trust you to deliver on the job. But if you sit in the office space and you're like, oh, well, nobody likes me, Nobody wants to give me anything. Nobody wants to. It's because you're just going to stay in that position for a very long time. Yeah. So at times you really need to take upon yourself and work on these things. And what I tell the women after my training is, when you have had some of these things and you've realized some of those strengths that you possess, take this as an opportunity and walk up to your HR manager and tell them, hey, I think I am good at this. This is my track record. I think I am a good candidate for this and this position. I think I'm a good candidate for this and this and this. And you could create this in the company, and I'm sure I can manage because this is my track record. And present it before them, and you'll be surprised at how they can just take you on your word, and you find yourself in a position because you chose to take time to invest in yourself and position yourself as the go-to person. Yeah. So.
Yes, and promote yourself. Promote yourself,
Exactly.
because sometimes we're waiting for somebody else to promote us and to lift us up, but actually it's up to ourselves. And if these women can use their voice and say, here I am, they can show up, here I am, and this is what I can do, and promote themselves, it can change their life. Yes, it's amazing.
Exactly.
Love
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the House of Cara.
Okay.
Yeah, because I just absolutely love those shoes, and it's amazing. I even was inspired to wear some colorful print
I
today.
know. I saw it. I was about to say that.
I love the African prints and different prints, and when I looked up the shoes online, it was like, oh my goodness, these are just amazing and beautiful. So tell us about House of Cara, please.
All right. So House of Cara, I always say it's a combination. It's like a meeting point. My passion for the continent of Africa, and my passion for shoes, and my love for the African fabric, the African print. Because when I look at the African print, especially our prints here in Cameroon, they are very vibrant and very colorful. And when you look at a typical Cameroonian is a very vibrant person. It's a very lively person. They have so much life and so much energy in them. Though we have 10 different regions, and we have over 250 ethnic languages, and we have English speaking and we have the French speaking people. We still find this common ground as Cameroonians. We have this love for our country and love for the things that make us us, because honestly, a francophone, a French-speaking person in my country will put on a fabric from my region where I come from, and he will call it a kind of national identity. To him, it's national identity. It's not about the Anglophones, it's not about the Francophones. And so this love for the fabric, this vibrance, this color, this resilience that is in the people is what I wanted to put in my shoes. I say that when you wear the shoes, I want you to walk with your head tall. I want you to realize that you have what it takes to get whatever you want in life. I want every woman who wears the shoe to realize that she is good enough. She has got resilience, she's got the strength, she's got everything in her that can take her wherever she wants to go. And that's how House of Cara was born. When I started doing the bumping of shoes, a lot of people them, but there was this issue of quality. The shoes, since we're using local cobblers to put together, quality was not so good. So I told myself, I really want it to be excellent. I want it to be something that really stay for a very long time. You don't want people to spend money and then keep spending for the sake of it. I want you own a pair. You should really own a pair for a very long time. Even if that's the only pair you're going to get, let it be something you can look at 5, 6, 7 years later and say, this shoe is one of those shoes that always carried me tall. And so I started with the company in 2014. A friend of mine who's who is an accountant, helped me put together a business plan because I was looking for how I can actually make the shoes myself, not revamp old shoes, but actually make shoes from scratch. So she helped me put a business plan in 2014, and that plan was about close to $7,000, I think, just for a start. I didn't have that kind of money, and I was like, God, how do I even do this? So I kept it. I just kept it. I'm like, okay, it's something I love, but if I can't do it, no problem. And so by 2017, I started sourcing some money. I was talking with my sister, and she was like, okay, I think I can give you something. I have something. She gave. I got what I had, and in 2018, I decided to do the very first samples. When I got them, I can't explain what I felt when I really got the first sample of shoes that I made, not just somebody's shoe that I took and made beautiful, but something that I thought and then I made.
Oh, we have a little bit of a freezing problem here. I'm sure it will rectify itself. I've lost you, Leila. Yeah, I've lost you, Leila. I wonder if maybe you could re-enter the studio. Not sure if you can hear me on that side. Okay, I think that Leila's probably going to try and re-enter the studio. These things happen with these calls and internet, and it's just something that we have to deal with. But it's absolutely amazing because what Leila was saying about her shoes is that when she her first collection was handcrafted, and it was a collection of statement shoes to help strong women walk on purpose. And I just thought that is just such an amazing statement to make. And as with everything else that Leila is doing in life, it's to uplift and give confidence to women. And that's just an amazing thing to do. And I'm hoping that Leila will be able to link back in with us. We were almost at the end of our conversation, so it's a pity that our sound changed there, but I think most of what we wanted to cover has been covered. So looks like Leila might be coming back in. Let's have a look and see. You coming in back.
So
nice. Great. What can
welcome to
These are
Africa.
things we have to deal with. Yeah, these are things we have to deal with on the internet and with.
I'm so sorry. Welcome to Africa.
That's no problem at all. No, I was just saying how I loved the statement that you made about your first collection being a handcrafted statement shoes to help strong women to walk on purpose. And I just absolutely loved that statement that you made. And I'm so glad that you managed to get back on here so that we can, end off in a good way. So you've got a couple of lines of shoes already done, and you are starting on the next lines as well, as far as I understand.
Yes, I got a couple of them. Yeah, a couple of them are already made, and right now we're working on improving the quality, because what we do is we really try to hear what people say, so that we can really do things that are lasting. And so we are improving the quality of the material that we are using, and we are working on getting way better material. And our next collection is going to be really across the board. because we have people who keep saying, but we want to wear your shoes, but either it's too low for me, it's too high for me. So we decided this time around we're going to go across the board. Whatever kind of shoe you like wearing, you're going to find it in our collection, because we really want every woman to find something that really works for her. Yes, so that's what the next collection
that
is
is
going
wonderful.
to
I
look
mean,
like.
I love shoes. I
Yeah.
absolutely love shoes. And yes, you go through phases in your life where you have the very high ones, and then the medium ones, and then the work shoes, and then the
Yeah.
very low
Yeah.
ones. So times change, and your feet change through life as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true.
That's,
Times change, and your choices and your preferences too.
yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so Leila, why I'm really glad you got back on, because if somebody wanted to work with you one-on-one, or have you come into their company, even online, it doesn't even have to be in Cameroon, it could
Yeah.
be anywhere actually, because,
Yes.
we are international. There we are back. So where would they be able to find
Yeah.
you? And could we put some links in the comments afterwards, so that
Yes.
everyone knows where they can get hold of you? And there was also something that I saw that you posted about build a thriving online brand roadmap, that you posted
Yes.
somewhere, and that was something that I thought that, maybe would you be wanting to post that here as well, so that people
Awesome.
could get in on that?
Awesome. All right. All right. I'll definitely do that. But the easiest way to reach me is if you just send me a message. I might not see immediately, but I'll definitely see. And like you said, I'm going to share the links with you, so you can share in the comments as well. Anything at Leila Kigha. And that's the advantage when you have I don't want to call it a typical African name, because my name is not typically African. Uh, Anytime you write the combination Leila Kigha, one person appears, and that's me. There's no other person on earth
Yeah.
with this combination. So it's an advantage. It's an advantage I have. So I just say, when you type at Leila Kigha, be it on LinkedIn, you're going to see me. Here on Facebook, you're going to see me. On Instagram, you're going to see me. And then I'm going to leave my links as well, so people can see how they can work with me one-on-one, how we can also schedule, if they are interested, to have a kind of group session or training or facilitation or mastermind with their staff, or whoever they think I wouldn't mind. We can talk about it and work on something. And then I have a webinar that's coming up. Actually, I wanted to do a webinar, but I think I want to do a mastermind, because I believe that one day, 1 hour, 30 minutes, it's not enough for people to actually see and get results that can start them on a journey. And so what I want to do is, I want to do a mastermind, which will be 7 days. And during that, I'm just going to take people through a lot that has to do with the branding process that many people don't know. Many people don't know that this is the core of branding. Many people think having a beautiful logo, having bright colors, and having very beautiful headshots is what branding is. That's just part of the identity side of it, the visible side of it. The core of it, the heart of your brand, has a lot of introspection that needs to go on. And a lot of people flee from getting into themselves, because probably they don't want to find what might be there, or they're not comfortable with what they might find. But that's the heart of the brand building process. And that's one of the things I'm going to be doing during the mastermind, to help people understand that it's a much more deeper, I call it a spiritual work that you do on
Yeah.
yourself. Because when you are in alignment with yourself, it's very easy for you to align with your clients that you really want to serve.
Yeah.
But when you find
That's
out that
so
when
true.
you
So true.
yourself, when you have this schizophrenia going on, so many personalities going on. It's hard to attract people. People are like, she is what? Finally, who is she? And so that is one of the works we do. And I always tell my clients, alignment and synergy, that is the heart of it. When you get that right, know you're going to attract the people that are absolutely in love with what you're doing, and they're going to pay you for it, because there is this agreement, there is this connection that is beyond explanation. And that's where the work really happens. They're open to you, they can trust you, and the exchange of energies, it's really going to be authentic. And so those are some of the things I will look at. And then I have a couple of people I'm bringing on who are going to be talking about the goal setting process. Many people don't know why it is important to set goals, and actually how to set goals that you can really achieve. Many people don't even know the impact of color psychology on the things you do. People don't know how important it is to understand how colors work and how you can use it in your brand and other things. And mindset, people don't know how important it is to be okay in your own mind before you even step out. So I'm really working on putting together a team that is really, really going to help me work with these ladies for 7 days. And I'm sure at the end of it, they're really going to be on a very good footing. They're going to start off that journey to greatness. Yeah, so that's what I'll be looking forward to doing. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Sorry, yes. I had a little problem over here. That's amazing. Leila, thank you so much. That was so interesting. And I'm so glad you got back on here at the end, because this part that you put in here is really, really important. And and I think that this is what people need to hear. And yes, we will put the links in the bottom. And just before we go, is there one thing that you would like to say to women out there that you find is important?
Yes. What I would like to say to every woman is what I always say I would tell my younger self. I would tell every woman, it is time for you to give yourself permission to take your place at the table. Because if you don't give yourself permission, no other person is going to do it. People are busy with their problems. People are busy with their dreams and the things that get them preoccupied every day. If you're waiting for somebody to approve you, to give you the go ahead, to tell you you can do it, you might not have somebody to do that. So give yourself permission to go out there and do the things you love, because you have that special gift that only you can give to the world.
Absolutely, that special gift. And you have a unique and special name, as you said, and you have a unique and special gift too. And it was absolutely delightful speaking to you here today. Thank you so much, Leila, and thank you for that wonderful message for our listeners. And I'd love to speak to you again in some time and hear more about your masterminds and things. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. Bye now, everyone. Bye, Leila.
Bye.
Bye.